What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. As you can see the title, this is a Cat Williams reaction. I called it "You're the Star." Rewrite the movie of your life. I really want to call it "Leapfrogging a Cabal." I really did. I really did. And some people say, Erica, I don't have 2 hours and 45 minutes to watch a guy's interview. And so, you're watching clips because they know people's attention spans are just struggling out here. And I want to encourage you to watch it in full context. Boy, he didn't leave anybody out. Ludicrous. Everybody got it. Everybody's got a strange looking light skinned wife with a lot of man. It just was a hitter. And I respect Shay Club. I think that's what it is. Shay Club, because when economic shifts happen, big changes happen. Now, they spoke on how he helped Melba Moore get a star on Broadway. Now, there's several black people from the 80s and 90s who were stars. I think the DeBarge family still is old, a course correction in history, but that's another conversation. And how he helped her get a star on Walk of Fame. Now, what happens is if you don't have the money to pay, you don't get it, which is interesting. But here's the thing: Hollywood has lost its luster. There is a shuffle. There's a Hollywood shuffle. There's actually a game show. And if you pay attention, where did the Hollywood shuffle go? It went to Atlanta. It went to the East Coast. There's a lot of TV shows filmed right here in Austin, Texas. There's a ton of TV shows filmed in the Carolinas, New York, et cetera, et cetera. This has always been the case, Canada. But I want you to understand, if you look at the Cabal, it's the East Coast Cabal. When you saw the Grammys just did a 50-year hip hop, they conveniently left out the Dirty South, Louisiana, Master P, and people who didn't conform. Let's just go there for a second, right? And you see cabals. Now, what is a cabal? It's a collection of people. They're kind of gatekeeping. These words we use, gatekeeper. Like when I hear, let me just be honest, because this is going to be a rough show. But before I do that, first, don't forget, we have February 3rd and 4th in Plano, Texas, Dallas, Texas. We have a weekend special price going on for the next week and a half. I'm just trying to close out the last of the tickets. Anybody who paid the full price, you can actually bring a second guest and email our staff. We'll talk to you about that. So we're just trying to close that out. And then 2, we have the 5-day kickoff, which is January 8th through 12th. Sorry, I've been having a bunch of jaw surgery, so I've been struggling here. But essentially, the workbook from day 1, I think I'm gonna sell that on Gumroad, but it's also be included inside the course. You guys should see it probably this weekend or probably tomorrow. So let's get back into it. A cabal. What is a cabal? It's a collection of people who have decided to get on a team, and then just their team cross promotes over and over again. You see The Rock and Kevin Hart in movies back to back. It's kind of getting ridiculous, kind of getting redundant. Some of the latest movies didn't do so well, and we've seen a cabal. We've seen it many ways. I talk often about the whole New York to Atlanta cabal, where even though they're all in Atlanta, it's only New Yorkers who move to Atlanta that make all the award shows, that make all the podcasts, that do all the events. And so after a while, you just start to notice, like, it's kind of a cabal. Anytime somebody tries to come in from the outside, they're blocked out. Interesting. Right? Because there's a ton of movement and traffic in the Midwest. There's a ton of movement and traffic in Florida, in Atlanta, Alabama, right? In North Carolina, South, Virginia. But somehow we just keep hitting Atlanta. The Atlanta cabal keeps kind of being very strong, right? And you can take that for whatever it's worth. Tyler Perry, for sure. We are expecting so much out of him when he can only go do so much, right? So I enjoyed the interview. To me, it was a comedy stand-up show. Like, Cat Williams could have sold that. Like, that whole thing was hilarious. When he did the wars, when he pretended to be Cedric Williams and pulled his legs and hands up, I couldn't take it. Ricky Smiley, good gracious. Woo, he was like just ripping him, Faison, a lot of these people. I didn't know he had a tumor in his mouth and stuff, and just the whole interview. I mean, hit after hit after hit. And I can sit here and play clips and try to get all these views from this, but no, I really want you to understand that you are the star. You can rewrite the movie of your life. And the best thing that came out of the pandemic, the best thing that's come out of all the people leaving LA, whether y'all want to acknowledge it or not, is like LA's lost its luster. We see all those policies going way to the left didn't work in various lanes, right? Like, oh, let's just give everybody free healthcare. Let's give everybody free access to everything. And people are always going to vote for them to get free stuff. You know, when you look up every year and 3 to 7 to 8,000 millionaires keep leaving your state every year, eventually you'll have to balance your budget. But we already know, because we actually are readers over here, that Arnold Schwarzenegger made a vote. He said, listen, if y'all vote this way, this state is bankrupt. It will be bankrupt. No matter how many people come online, we have the biggest economy ever, California, blah, blah, blah. The numbers show you guys will be bankrupt. Okay? And listen, Alaska gives us oil and some other stuff. So we don't mind letting them be in on welfare. And California gives us a lot of food, but it's got to be something else, right? So as Hollywood and California loses its luster and it kind of gets spread over to the East Coast, and you know, the whole Miami, you know, everybody freaking out moving to Miami. What you start to realize is the power of teams. And what can you do for me, and what can these teams do for you? And I wanted to tell y'all, like, I really want to name this show Leapfrogging a Cabal, because I can go back on YouTube and show you where the top Black YouTubers, all 8 of them, are all Nigerians and Somalians and non-Americans and a British Black, right? I can show you, and they cross promote all the time. And I can show you where, you know, just the top of any space. I can pretty much go tech, stocks. I can go finance. They have created little cabals, right? It used to be, if there's a picture, if it's still up on the internet, you go find it. It's Lewis Howes, Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, basically their whole little group on a bicycling in the mountains of California before they all blew up. Just conveniently all together right before they all hit. Now you're going to say, well, Ericka, they have great audio. They got great video. They do great sequence. They do all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, y'all, but a lot of it is Cabal. Okay. So let's stop fronting. Okay. It's a lot of cross-pollination. It's a lot of gatekeeping. And when people are lazy and use the word, they're gatekeeping, they won't give me the information free. Baby, information is everywhere. Information ain't shit. It's execution. Now, if I can tell you in the exact steps how to do something, there's power in that, right? Right now, just be honest. I can tell you, whether it's speakers, finance, real estate, or YouTube, you can pay about $5,000. Like, I'll just run them down. Like, Meet Kevin, Ryan Pieta, Ben Mala, Graham Stephan, several of them. You could probably meet them all in 1 month if you were willing to pay $5 to $10K for their masterminds, their events, their one-on-one meetings. You could come out, probably drop, $20,000, 20 to 30 grand. At the end of the month, you would have had pictures with who's who of the top 10 of real estate and business YouTube. Easy, because we've put a price on some of this stuff. So the gate is halfway open. The gate's kind of halfway open. Why is the gate halfway open right now in a lot of spaces? It's because there's an economic shift. Whenever you have an economic shift where things, what we had was the easy money supply is now shifting away. The people that were on the internet pretending goofy, I'm just doing information business, and they didn't buy a home, they didn't buy cars, they didn't really have a business, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be hurt. So they're going to have to parlay, barter to get more, right? To get more. That's the best way to say that. What did I like about the Cat Williams special? In general, when you finance yourself and your projects, you can talk shit. It's just that simple. When you can finance your own projects or figure out how to finance your own projects, you can talk shit. YouTube, I'm trying to say the right thing. Netflix has tried to put on several people, and it ain't worked. It just flops and flops and flops. There's people like Cat Williams that continue to have special after special after special. Again, I told you about Joy Coy, and this was my biggest complaint against Monique. I know everybody's like, well, she won the lawsuit. Yeah, she won, but did she really? Um, Joy Coy paid 300 grand, and ran up the debt for him to put on a special. He was selling out concerts everywhere. Then he was able to sell that 300 grand special to Netflix for 3 million, the first one. Everyone after that has been more and more and more millions. So when people tell you there's a way to get around a lot of the gatekeeping, it's them having to finance their own crap. Right? You don't have to do something strange for some change if you finance your own stuff. He mentioned Harvey Weinstein. Whew. He mentioned a lot of creepy stuff, right? And so I just want people to understand, like, in order to get around the cabal or get around having to do something strange for some change to get in a room with people, man, he hit up P. Diddy about 5 times in that convo, maybe 4 times. Talking about P. Diddy likes to party. I was like, yikes, right? And so what we realize is nowadays people rather be famous than be wealthy. And that only lasts so long. That only works so well. It's kind of a dangerous thing. And so the power of YouTube and the internet have kind of balanced a lot of that out. Now, even now here on this platform, this very platform you're watching, YouTube, they demonetize family channels. They demonetize gun channels. They demonetize wholesome stuff. They demonetize farms. But guess what? People keep watching by the millions. Guns, family channels, farms. By the millions. Now, even so much so that they have cow trimming channels where they're cleaning hooves and trimming, and they're making millions of dollars because people want wholesome content. No matter how you try to poison a population of people want wholesome content, right? Netflix tried to show you a bunch of the Cuties movie. People outraged, boycotted it. No, we don't want that. So part of what you have to learn in this is when you can finance your movie, you can finance your way in. When you can pay for the ads, now the platforms are being very, it's like, look, I told you what Patrick Bet-David said. Listen, if you take medical advertising off TV, that is 98% of the money that television receives. They would be bankrupt in a week. They couldn't pay their staff. They couldn't pay they just would be shutting down everything because the medical industry pays billions of dollars in advertising. Right? Now, many people say, Ericka, next year's going to be difficult. Between inflation, it's going to be extra distraction. I already told y'all what 2024 is going to be. It's going to be extra distraction because people aren't in any kind of place. Now, what do I mean? There's about, in my estimations, again, this is my estimations, so you don't have to agree with this, 3 to 10 million Americans, Black, Latino, whoever, who need to move up. Now, what do I mean? I'm talking about nursing. I'm talking about medical care. I'm talking about engineering. I'm talking about higher skilled jobs that have been open for a long time. We keep saying there's 10 million open tech jobs. And why are we having to pull so many people from foreign countries? Because Americans are like, well, I'm doing all right. I can live cheaper. Me and my kids are doing just fine. Any medical emergency happens, anything goes left, they're about near homeless. Because people seek comfort over all else. Well, I just want to enjoy my kids and enjoy my life. Now they're 50. Their kids can't afford to go to college. They can't really afford to go anywhere without racking up a ton of debt. They ain't been on no vacations. The kids didn't play any sports because they couldn't afford it. Right? So again, people are telling you that this is a great way to live. No. You need to be the star. You need to rewrite the movie of your life. And that starts with asking deep questions, acknowledging your current state, and then asking questions. Now, part of what that means in acknowledging your current state is acknowledging that, hey, this economy, this inflation is really getting crazy. This is happening. These neighborhoods, hey, these prices aren't going down. We're really hoping for them to come back down to the $300, $200 houses. And I'm like, yeah, you can get that on the outskirts of town. I told y'all when I was in Tomball, which is the outskirts of Houston, you can get $200,000 house. We have people in the comments and everybody to say, oh, well, there's $200,000 houses where I live. See, what people want to be in the thick of it, in the middle of downtown for $200K. It ain't happening unless there's bullets flying. It ain't happening. Well, Ericka, it's got to crash. It's got to crash. It does not have to crash. Only thing crashing is these commercial spaces. That's why they're going to force y'all back into these offices. That's why they're retrofitting these business centers, these business parks to have apartments in between the business park. They're building one right now here in Austin in the Domain, and the whole top part is apartments. The bottom part is an office. So you got like 4 levels of office, parking deck, then office, then apartments. You gonna be in these offices one way or another. And so for people who don't have great skill, they're gonna be in these offices. They're gonna be in these offices. They're gonna be making about 50 to 70K a year. Making closer to 70K a year in the office. The people who want to work from home, oh, you can make about 50. They're gonna reduce that income down low. Like, well, you're remote. I can't give you a bonus or I can't give you a pay increase because you're remote. They're gonna twist y'all to get back in these offices. This is why you have to rewrite the movie of your life. You have to be able to realize you are in control of which way this ship goes. You don't have to do nothing strange for some change to make it out here. This is why Slim Thug did the whole thing. These guys throwing their life away for chains and stupid stuff when you can live like a movie star of 20K a month. You really can. Depending on who these guys are, depending on where you live, what state you live in, there's several YouTubers living in the middle of nowhere with giant houses. Living in Ohio, Indiana, living in Oklahoma on whole farms. You don't have to chase this Hollywood dream anymore because Hollywood's lost its power. Again, Taji P. Henson, when he brought up her, not making no money. She's like one of the top 3 black women you see all the time. Meryl Streep is like almost half a billionaire. And she got 4 kids and they all got continuous acting roles. Right? White Hollywood is still living a vastly different life than Black Hollywood. The only time Black Hollywood really thrive is Black exploitation films. And they came up with the name Black exploitation films because they were jealous that white Western movies were flopping and Black exploitation films were just packed out movie theaters. It's a thing. It was a thing. And so what you have to understand in this whole thing is, how can I leapfrog the cabal? Put out good work. Do events. Do a mixture of offline and online. Go to where your people are. And honestly, you can spend ad money now. They're bending over backwards on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, this is how you can do ads. You can spend $5 a day, please. Right? They're basically telling you like, hey, we ain't pushing y'all stuff. Y'all gotta spend some money. And so you want to be of service to your community, and you want to realize what is the why? Why are you doing this? How do you want to impact people? I have no doubt that Cat Williams is Paul Mooney level genius. No doubt in my head. No doubt. And everything he said, how can you contest it? First of all, why was there going to be a grape scene in Friday? For what? For why? That was very weird. Who put that in the writing? Questionable, very questionable behavior they got coming out of Hollywood there. And so again, you look now, you got Netflix movies, you got Netflix TV shows, you got limited series TV shows that come out. A lot of these stars, Jay Lopez, all these people are being in these TV shows because Hollywood's lost some of its luster. And so again, if you want to leapfrog over some of this nonsense you're seeing and be able to turn down weird offers, which your girl has been able to turn down some weird offers, I'm telling you, you have to decide what is the product and who are you trying to serve, right? One of the ebooks we put out is how to build an overseas community. I mean, it's cheaper now than more than ever to go overseas to Costa Rica, right? You move your space for pretty cheap. You want to throw an event, you just start showing Instagram of Costa Rica, different parts of Costa Rica, ride around on a scooter, eat fresh food, take pictures of fresh food, and then invite people for a fee, $500 to $1,000 to come, 10 at a time, every quarter, 4 times a year, you're doing pretty good. The internet has broken down a lot of barriers. And so that's why I shared the video in the community wall that they're saying we're going to have a solar flare July, maybe of 2025. and the internet may be knocked out, they're letting you know. The internet is one of the easiest ways that information has been spread, information has been brought to the masses. Information of, oh my God, all of a sudden these people are dropping quickly. Why are so many people dropping after taking this jab? You know, again, if you want to be famous right now, you're a star. You can rewrite the movie of your life. You could just be controversial. Now, what's controversial? What Cat Williams just did. One, two, opposite world. Right? Aaron Clary said something about traditional women, TikTokers, and all this stuff. These people are fake, and I laugh because I'm like, it's whatever's popular, go the opposite. Right? So there's a lot of men on YouTube and Instagram who are just dressing traditionally like a man, 1940s, 1950s, cut their hair, super masculine, mustaches, making tons of views, tons of money. There are women who are dressing in aprons and maids and pretending to cook in the kitchen, and everybody's like, oh, the 1950s, I love it, right? Lots of views. A couple years ago, all these girls, I'm conservative, I'm a MAGA chick. They're putting on the red hat, make America great again. Just be controversial because you are the star. You can rewrite the movie of your life, right? If you're a man, come on the internet and say men should pay all the bills and your wife should be able to stay home. Boy, you'll be famous in 2 minutes. You'll be famous in 2 minutes. You will. All right. This one girl shows her dad always in the kitchen cooking, making stuff, and her mom's like fighting to get in the kitchen to wash the dishes, and he's like, I can do it. I come from a military family. Most of our military uncles cooked and grilled food. This is very common. Anybody who grew up with an actual father in their home, your dad cooked. My dad never cooked. Your dad never cooked. That's questionable. But we have such a huge population of people who have not seen a consistent, healthy, balanced male that this girl can show her daddy in the kitchen cooking and happy to do so and grilling meat on the grill. And people are like, that's a man. Again, just do the opposite. Listen, so many things I can say. The whole soft living, the whole be more feminine. Again, you know this when you go out of the house, and if you're a woman and you're watching this channel, you put a dress on, you do your hair and makeup a little bit. People gonna be like, where you going, girl? Who you going to see? You going on a date? My friend worked as an engineer at Samsung, and there's not very many women there. Let's be clear. Maybe like 20. I think at one point she said there was like 40, and it was like a shock. Like everybody's like, oh my God, there's 40 women here. And she came in and she would put makeup on, and one time she wore a dress and people were like, do you have a date? Are you going somewhere after work? They were just shocked. One, it's an environment full of men, and two, we're living in a society where everybody's getting extra comfortable. They're going to go in sweats and sneakers everywhere they can. They're going to put on comfortable jeans, and people will argue with you up and down. Why shouldn't I be comfortable at work and out my house? I'm like, okay, dude, cool. It used to be a thing. If you saw people in sweatpants, you're like, damn, are they depressed? Could they not get on jeans? It's one of those things. There's delicious eggnog with a little bit of alcohol in here. So yes, I did have dental surgery, but it is what it is. It's gonna have to mix and mingle with the jaw medicine. But I want you to understand the whole premise of that show is hilarious. But when someone's telling hardcore truth, you know what I mean? Like try to contest them, you couldn't contest them on it. Couldn't fight them on it. That's why I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a comedy show basically. And it's the distraction of the month, right? There isn't nothing any one of those people can say. Like we all know Steve Harvey had a man wig on. We knew that for years, right? But that's what it is. People have such short-term memory that Cedric the Entertainer was able to steal a joke, and then nobody noticed it, or so he thought, right? So anyway, there's so many things I want to say, but I'm being very careful. But again, if you want to be popular or you're in my digital real estate class, again, I might do a little video on this, like separate from this, is like everything that's old is new again. If you want to show homesteading, farm life, simple living, a guy playing with his kids in his living room, a father being involved in activities, all these things will get you lots of views. because the pendulum always swings back, and we try to swing back to a normal. And what's a normal? Marriage, kids, happy family, church life, whether they want to be honest about it or not. And so I loved it. I'd highly recommend you go watch Cat Williams sprout his truth. And again, old boy's on his 12th Netflix special. Can't tell him nothing. Can't tell him nothing. I hope you guys enjoy this. But again, anybody who wants to leapfrog a cabal in your life on the social media aspect at this point, just go find the top 10 people in your career. If you don't believe me, go read the 4 Hour Work Week, where basically he was like, how can I leapfrog all these tech people and doing all these conferences? I'm just going to pick the top 2 biggest, best conferences that's out there, and I'm going to be in the top 4 magazines in the industry. If you don't watch this channel enough and realize something your girl is also doing is we're going to leapfrog a cabal over tech next year. And really we're in 2024 now. So this year we're going to leapfrog a certain cabal in tech that's kind of been pigeonholing tech. And you guys will see that from me. And then we're also leapfrogging some other stuff, but you'll see it. Sometimes it just is what it is, right? Everybody's not going to get an appropriate amount of shine. And if you're not willing to kind of bend and ebb and flow to get in some of these groups, they'll lock you out of it. And that's fine. So this is your girl, Ericka, from the Classic Line blog. Listen, stand strong, enjoy the day, and go watch Cat Williams be hilarious on the Shay Shay show. So anyways, later.